I'm going to share with you something really cool this episode. I'm recording here on my screen. And we're going to go through a more, I guess you could say, advanced strength training exercise that you can use for, if you are a strength athlete, you can use it to improve your Olympic weightlifting or your powerlifting, even as a strongman. If you are a bodybuilder, you could use this as a way to, I guess, help build muscle, but probably not something that I would use for a bodybuilder. If you are an athlete, this is something you can use, especially if you're in, say, a grappling sport, even Muay Thai with the clinch, any other contact sport like rugby, etc. as well. And I'll show you this, and it's called an eccentric quasi-isometric. And let me show you what it looks like, so it's going to be easier for me to explain once you've seen it. So this is me on a deficit platform with about 125 to 130% of snatch max. And essentially, I've lowered it down into the hang position, and I'm just holding on for dear life. And that is essentially what an eccentric quasi-isometric is. And to put it, I guess, to make it really simple, you're basically holding a heavy isometric position until failure. And this failure is what makes it turn into a supramaximal eccentric, which is one of the most, like I said, most potent exercises because of the intensity of the loading, because you can always lift more eccentrically than you can concentrically. Same thing with isometrics. So the idea is that you're able to do more work, you're able to increase or have a lot of tension, also a lot of metabolic stress. So you get a lot of signaling essentially to get stronger and to get bigger. Now, the nice thing about this as well, it can be used in a rehab setting. So for muscle rehab, tendon rehab as well, because of these isometrics. And you also have the potential to improve or increase muscle fascicle length, which is just essentially adding blocks of muscle fibers in a row, which for sporting activities is highly important because the longer the muscle fascicle, the faster the contractile velocity, essentially the faster you become, the quicker you produce force. So it's another way you can do here. Obviously for contact sports, especially for the snatch deadlift, you're resisting posture breaks. So if you're familiar with grappling at all and someone trying to break your posture, you're essentially holding this position and not letting the bar fold you over, which is highly important in many contact and combat sports. So it's another really nice one. Now, you're not limited to doing it with a snatch deadlift. Now, before I move on from the snatch deadlift, I should add that 140% of your snatch or clean 1RM is typically what your, I guess, the recommended what you use. But I mean, you can use anything from probably about 120% of your snatch or clean 1RM to do this. And typically you like to do it from a deficit because that gives you the extra range at the bottom. And you're just going to hold that thing for as long as possible. Typically, eccentric quasi-isometrics are anywhere from 5 to 90 seconds. I guess the sweet spot is kind of in that 20 to 30 second range. Now, there's many lifts you can do this. Anything you can hold an isometric safely with and fail, you can do this with. So a really good example are like pull-ups or chin-ups. Now you don't want to hold it at the top because it's so easy at the top compared to other ranges of motion. So you want to hold it like at a 90-degree arm or elbow angle. And essentially you're going to hold that position. You can do it weighted as well. Obviously when you add weight, you're going to have a faster or a shorter duration eccentric quasi-isometric. So you can hold it and you can essentially resist all the way down. And that's going to give you a really, I guess, potent strength stimulus. Again, really good for grappling contact sports for that. You can do the same with bicep curls. You can do the same with leg press, even leg extensions to an extent, lion leg curls. Like any of these things can be done with this format. But obviously the bigger the more compound movement it is, the more you're going to get out of it in terms of, I guess, whole body training. So this is something that you can honestly give it a try. Typically you're not going to do this as a standalone thing. So for example, if you were going to do the snatch deadlift, you would do maybe, let's just say if you're a weightlifter, you would do, say, your snatches first, you would do your snatch pulls, and then you would finish with one set of this after your snatch pulls. If you are more of just a general strength trainer or trainee, you would do, say, your snatch pulls or snatch deadlifts, and then you would finish with one set of this. So this is kind of like the add-on, like you tack this on after you've already done pulls or deadlifts, instead of just using it as a main movement. Same thing with the pull-ups. For example, if you would do, say, your 4 sets of 6 weighted pull-ups, then you might do 1 set at the end of that of your eccentric quasi-isometrics. It's a really cool, training methodology. It's one that is relatively new, especially in terms of the research surrounding it. Dustin Orenchuk, a friend and colleague, is, the one leading that currently with his isometric research, and he's published a couple of papers around eccentric quasi-isometrics. You can also check out one of my other podcasts on Sweet Science of Fighting with Dustin. We actually go through this quite a bit. It's a really cool little thing. You can definitely give a go and try. So, I'll give you another visual. I'll have to take some videos of the pull-up versions and other versions of it, but ideally, essentially, you're just holding something damn heavy in this position until you fail. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to try. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'll answer them in the next video. It can be anything training related, nutrition related, whatever it is, and I'll catch you then.